Folks, friends, American Pitbull Terrier, the future of it, watch this video all the way to the end. I promise you, you'll love it. American people that love the American Pitbull Terrier, this video is very important. I got off my bed, I was thinking, and I had a message from a young man that his ideas were right in line with my ideas, and it was wonderful, you know, because these thoughts been in my head for a long time, and I told him the story, I told him the truth, and I just feel like I need to share this truth a little bit more, all right? And this truth is about you. This truth is about America. This truth is about the American Pitbull Terrier. About 10 years ago, I contacted some leaders from around the world in the American Pitbull Terrier. Some top-of-the-line dogmen, some people that work for, I don't want to say exactly, but I'll call desk people, which means they're not active. They probably, I don't even know if they own a dog, but they're very relevant in the American Pitbull Terrier, you know? And they got clubs and so on and so forth and stuff like that. And I started going around the world with my seminars to inspire people and lead people around the world for the American Pitbull Terrier. Zero salary. There was no salary involved. There was nothing, no dog sales, by the way. I was not selling dogs at the time at all, zero. I was just inspiring people and building up leaders to make them better so I can make the breed stronger. And so in my head, there was this thought, and it develops while I was in Thailand. And then when we went to Singapore, not to Singapore, when we went to Indonesia to give this seminar. And we were giving this seminar, and then all of a sudden something just popped in my head, and I said, what do we need to do to take the American Pitbull Terrier, to let it survive and go over the 100, years from now? What do we do? You know, I know what the leaders did in the past, but they were not facing what we're facing today and some of the things that happened. And during these 10 years, a lot of things, a lot of ideas just kept them evolving and learning. Nothing was written in books. Nothing, nobody was talking about it. Nobody really knew. Everybody pulls their own way and so on and so forth. And so for me, it was clear that there was a problem. And the solution was needed, but I didn't even know what was the solution. But I knew there was a problem, and I couldn't explain the problem, folks. Believe me, I'm going somewhere. And the problem is that all those pet bulls and all those street pit bulls, like the first one I ever got, which I love him to death. He's a great dog, and it got me into these great American Pitbull Terriers, the real McCoy. But, I always thought I had a pit bull, and then I discovered through him that, I didn't have the real deal. That dog has sparkles of the real deal. So with that being said, it came out to be that, I started thinking, I said, those dogs are not going to cut it. The poor people that they have no standards, they are destroying the breed. They created from some low-class pit bulls, created a bully. And from the bully, they created all kinds of crazy stuff. They commercialize them, they make infomercials, and the television and stuff like that will go into whatever is popular, regardless if it's good or not. You understand? And then you got those agencies, okay? The demons that wants to destroy the breed in general, destroy the American Pitbull Terrier completely, and destroy the dogmen. And dogmen just took off running. They didn't have what is needed, the leadership to be there and stuff. So I'm not a dogman that is, I live in Brazil, you understand? So I think a lot about, and I travel around the world, and I love America. Folks, I have this great love towards America as a country. The American flag is in my living room, it's in my bedroom, it's in the cushions of my sofa. They, thanks to my sister-in-law that brought me these beautiful cushions that have the American flag. So when I'm watching TV, I pick them up and I see it, and I get inspiration. Every time I look at the flag, like, wow, it reminds me of all these beautiful things that made America. And it's about goodness. And yes, I know America, some governments have their faults and things that I don't agree with, but I love the American people in general. White, black, Hispanic, Asians, whatever, American Indians, Native Indians. I love everything. I love America. And there's different stages, some dark, some bright, some not, but that's America. And he has been the light beam to many countries around the world. And has been to he helped so much the country where I was born. And so we loved America. We were raised loving America. And so when I discovered America and I discovered the American Pitbull Terrier, I discovered courage. Boom. I discovered being relentless. I discovered the endurance, the character, you know, and everything. Like this puppy right now, he wants to get his way. You know what I'm saying? The American Pitbull Terrier. So that is not present in the pet bull. What you see there are sparkles. The real deal, when I got in the dogs, was in the hands of a group of men that, in the majority, were good men, and some of them were in a culture of, you know, backstabbing and, you know, and too many standards and the different bloodlines and so on and so forth. And one guy pulls this way and they chasters and they backstabbing and so on and so forth. They didn't have a healthy, growing society or community among themselves, you know, and there was a lot of things that I didn't agree with. So I went solo. My thing was getting the best, only the best. And I worked so hard and I made huge investments to get that. And I got it. And I went from being just a fancier, a crazy fancier, to being an investor of the breed, into being a good dogman, being a good man that has good maintenance, into being a good dogman, into being an international dogman, into being a global dogman, into being a leader. 3 basic steps to be a great dogman, or you can win with those or you can fail. And I said it, number 1 was culture. I wish I could say number 1 was genetics, because you, me, and everybody looking at this video, we're attracted to the genetics, the bloodline, the dog, whatever, but that is not the key. You need a great man to create this, all right? And so number 1 was culture, the quality of the humans that need to be in the participation of the development of the breed. So not everybody that breeds dogs is good. So this thing about all these breeders and all this stuff is all terrible, not a good idea. Only some men are capable of breeding great dogs, only some. And the combination of all these different standards is really, really bad. So number 1, culture. We need a culture. Number 2, we need genetics. Number 3, we need an inner core, which are those different little secrets and little great things that make us great, you know, here and there. And that will make you a great dogman. And then after that, you make all these things. But what's after inner core? It was number 4, and it was legacy. And I was at this point of legacy, but then after that, I went to number 5, which is significance. And significance was going forward to inspire other men. And I said it when I was in Indonesia. I wrote something that you can look up in some of the pictures that we took at the seminar. And I said it, the dogman's finest hour. The finest hour of a dogman, of a real dogman, is when you can lift others to have this. And this is what I'm talking about. Owning this with the right character, with the right humans, and going back to taking the breed to the next 100 years. This is what this video is about. And basically what it is this dog should not be in the hands of the dogs. What used to be called the game, after certain events around 2007 or whatever, the great people got out of the dogs, and then some dogs look at television and said, wow, so being a G is being a dog, is being a dog fighter. And those scumbags got in the dogs and they destroy everything. And they now in forums talking on Facebook and lying and all kinds of stuff. Those are the scumbags. And pedigrees online, those are the scumbags. The good men are the truck drivers that want to have the real American Pitbull Terrier, the real heritage, riding with them on a truck and knowing they're going from coast to coast, from the south to the north, and they're not riding with their families. They're not riding with the sons and the wives, but they want to have something that is so precious, that is so American, that will give them that energy, and it'll give them that strength, eternal strength, the courage, being so relentless to being the best and nothing but the best. And this is what I have in my hands. You know, an extension of their own families riding with them. That's why I love truck drivers, and they call me, they say, I want to get a dog from you, Chico Lopez. I want to get it from anybody else, but only you. And I say something else to you. You know, the old man from Alabama called me, he said, my grandchildren are not coming home anymore, and I want to have a dog from you. And I used to have American Pitbull Terriers 30, 40 years ago. I got it from my great-grandfather. And I started thinking, I said, what a wonderful thing. You know, when you can take something that is so American, like the greatest dogs. You know, the president of the country need to call me and need to get one of these free puppies from me. Every athletic man out there, every boxing champion should have one of these dogs. Every winner on the Olympic team need to have one of these dogs. Every entrepreneur, every strong man, every worker out there need to save his money and get one of these dogs. Good people. You take this dog, right? Maybe you take 6 of them, and then you don't need to cross them with nothing else. I did such a magical job, and I say magic, I don't say it in a bad way, I say it in a good way. I'm a Christian. So I said, you know, if you have 6 of my puppies or 4 of my puppies and you breed them among themselves, you'll never have problems for inbreeding or anything like that. They designed this way. And you can go for the next 100 years. And these dogs need to be with families, not with breeders. They need to be something that you hold for yourself because you got my standards. And you continue, and I'll be dead. And my sons will be there. And you can talk to them, you can call them. They can help you. My grandkids will carry this tradition as well. And there you go. Boom. I did it. You done it. You and I been part of this great mission to taking the dog, the real American Pitbull Terrier, over the next 100-year line. This is what we do, folks. We lift other people, but we don't lift just anybody. We lift great people. You are a great person. You need to call me. The number is 281-226-0370. Before I let you go, I want to tell you a little story about a man that called me now. He says he missed somebody chased him on a $30 million deal. And the $30 million deal was lost because people were not honest with him and things were going bad in his life. The only thing he had was his dogs. And he was very grateful on the phone about these videos that I make. And he said, you know, my dogs kept me together. Now I just signed a $13 million deal with somebody else and doing great and going forward. I just bought a 15 or 17 acre land, beautiful in the middle of somewhere in Virginia. Just imagine, folks, I've been down. I promise you, I've been homeless. I was a 17-year-old boy homeless. When I was a young boy, I didn't have shoes. I would have a pair of shoes to go Saturday to church because my family was a Seventh-day Adventist. And guys, I've been challenged so many times. I had to reinvent myself so many times. And in my low times and in my high times, this has always been next to me. God bless the American Pitbull Terrier. Much love, Chico Lopez. 123pitbulls.com.